Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Sonia and I would love it if you could subscribe, and if you're already an existing subscriber, welcome back. So before I start this video, I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. I can't believe we're in 2023, but 2023 is an exciting year for me, and I'm really hoping it's going to be a bit better than 2022 for me and my family. But yeah, Happy New Year everyone. So today's video I'm going to be running through my inventory, but just numbers for the time being. I do have planned in for February actually going through my whole collection, but just because of my schedule and everything I haven't been able to do it, and due to my schedule changing a little bit, and I'm only going to be uploading 2 videos per week, sometimes maybe 3. I just wasn't able to unfortunately fit it into January, but I have penciled it in for February, so please do keep an eye out for my whole collection. But I thought I would still do my numbers and also show you all the makeup products that I finished in 2022 for each category as well. So what I'm going to do, the way I think I'm going to do it, is I'm going to talk about each category, my numbers from last year and this year, and then I'm going to show you the products from that category that I've finished. I think that's how I'm going to work it. I hope you enjoy it. I have a spreadsheet that I created at the start of 2022, and I've just kept keeping it up to date. Any new makeup that was coming in, I'd make sure that I'd update my inventory. Was able to do a comparison from 2022 to 2023. So I have 14 different categories that I'm going to be talking about in today's video. I haven't finished something from every category in 2022, but I'll talk about that when I get to that category. Starting off, we're going to start with primers. I do my inventory in the way that I put my makeup on my face, so we're going to start with primers. And in January 2022 I had 14 primers, and then January 2023 I have 15. So I have finished quite a few, but I've also brought quite a few into my collection. Some of them I've bought myself, some of them are through subscription boxes, because I still do get subscription boxes. But I'm really happy because I did manage to finish 5 primers in 2022. So the first one I finished in June last year, and it was my Charlotte Tilbury Brightening Youth Glow. So I did have this, I think all of these were in projects. I had this one I think in my 22 in 2022. This used to be one of my favourite primers. It is really expensive though. I think well, last time I looked, which hasn't been for a while, I think it was like £39, but with just everything going up at the moment, it wouldn't surprise me if this has also gone up in price. I do like this primer. I just think for the price you can get something a lot cheaper on the market. I mean, at one point this used to be my holy grail. Like, I would always make sure that this was in my collection. I mean, it did take a long time to use up, but yeah, I'm glad I finished it and I'm glad I got my money's worth, but I won't be repurchasing this. I do really like Charlotte Tilbury products, but they are expensive, and if I can find something a little bit cheaper, then I will. I haven't found something exactly the same, but I have plenty of glowy primers in my collection that I don't feel like I need that. The next one I finished was also in June of last year, and it was the Benefit Professional. This is a classic. This always ends up back in my collection one way or another, and it is one that I do enjoy. I don't feel like, again, I need to go out and repurchase this one. I do like the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, and that is a lot cheaper than this one. But if this were to come in my collection, I would definitely use it. And yeah, I mean, it was only a little mini. The next one I finished in August last year, and it was the L'Oreal Glow Cherie primer. This again was one of my favourite primers, and unfortunately you can't buy it anymore, so even if I wanted to I couldn't, which is a shame because I did really enjoy it. I'm sure L'Oreal or somewhere on the high street will do something very similar to this. Again, I don't need any primers. I have 15 in my collection, and I'm not gonna lie, a majority of those are glowy primers, so I didn't need it straight away anyway, but I would have definitely repurchased it if I could, but unfortunately I can't. 4th primer I finished in October last year, and it was the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate Balm. So with this, I looked on the e.l.f. website at the reviews, and people love this, but I just think it's okay. Like, it does smooth out your skin, but yeah, it wouldn't be something I would get again. I didn't dig out the product because I didn't love it enough, but that it came in like a stick balm. I got this in a little set one Christmas from my sister anyway, so then I don't think they're usually this small. I mean, they may be, I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't like products like this where I have to draw it on my face. I don't really like stick foundations either. You know, I just would much prefer to use a primer in a tube than one like this, but I managed to get it out. I was really happy to have this out of my collection because I wasn't a massive fan of it, but I didn't dislike it enough to not pan it. And then the last one I finished was in November, and it was the Mon Skin Illuminating Primer. Again, with this one, I didn't find that this illuminated my skin, but it was okay to use. Do I think it was the best primer I've ever used ever? No. I did get this in a subscription box as well, so I didn't go out and buy it myself. I usually like products from this Mon Skin brand, and again, it was okay, but it wouldn't be something I would get again. So that is the 5 primers I finished. So I'm not too unhappy with this category. I mean, I know I've gone up 1, but it's fine. I feel like that's under control compared to some of my other categories, which I'm going to talk about. This category is definitely under control. So the next one is foundation. So in January 2022, I had 7 foundations in my collection, and now January 2023, I have 13. So I've nearly doubled the amount of foundations I've got in my collection, and I didn't finish any foundations in 2022. I worked on a few and I've managed to make really good progress on a few, but I didn't finish any. But I'm hopeful I can at least get 3 foundations out this year. I mean, it still won't get me down to less than 7, but still in January 2024, I'll hopefully have less than 13. It all just depends really on whether I buy makeup this year, which I'm trying not to, because I do have a big collection and I don't need makeup. I want makeup, but I don't need it. So I'm trying to be a little bit better this year, but I'm not going to put any pressure on myself, because for me, especially when I say I'm going on a low buy or a no buy, I just end up wanting to buy stuff just because I feel like I've put a constraint on myself, and it's just, I don't like it. So I'm not saying I'm not going to buy makeup, but I'm just hoping I'm not going to be buying as much as what I did in 2022. I haven't got anything to show for makeup I finished for the foundations, but yeah, not a great category, but again, not too bad, I guess. I did nearly double it, but it's okay, it's fine. Okay, now we're on to eyeshadows. So in my inventory, I do put palettes and singles in one as well, just to make it easy for myself. I can tell you I definitely increased this without even looking at the numbers, because eyeshadow is a weakness of mine. I absolutely love buying palettes, mainly palettes. I don't necessarily buy singles. Usually the singles come from my subscription boxes, but I love buying eyeshadow palettes. So in January 2022, I had 68 palettes and singles in my collection. And for January 2023, I have 95. So that has increased by a lot. But I'm not surprised at that, because I know that this is a weakness of mine, this category, because I just love it so much. I'm going to try and be a little bit better. I just don't use up eyeshadow as fast as I may, like for example primers or setting sprays, things like that. Eyeshadow just takes me a little bit longer. But I did count one eyeshadow as being finished this year, and I finished it in September, and it is the Lot in London Eye Foil Metallic Eyeshadow. So this dried up on me, which was a shame because I did really enjoy using this, and these are super inexpensive. So if you're on the market for a single eyeshadow and you don't have many eyeshadows in your collection, I would definitely recommend this, because it is such good value. So this one was in Faded, and it was a really beautiful shimmery eyeshadow. I just used this as like a one and done when I went into the office, and it blended beautifully. It didn't dry too fast, but it did dry down. Yeah, I really did enjoy this. But I'm not buying single eyeshadows because I don't reach for them as much as I do palettes. This one was in a project, so which is why I reach for it. But yeah, I don't reach for my singles as much, and I feel like that's quite a common thing, because some of the people I watch say the same thing about single eyeshadows. You know, they just don't reach for them that much, and I have to agree. I usually find myself favouring my palettes. But yeah, I managed to finish one. So that's better than nothing, I guess. And even then, like I said, I didn't manage to completely finish it, but I counted it as being completed. Not surprised at this category going up, but I'm hopefully going to be a little bit better, fingers crossed, in 2023 and not buy too many. I'm again not going to set a restriction. I think a couple of years ago I was like, if I reach like 80 of this category, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm going to put myself on a no buy, but again, that never ends well. So I'm just hopefully going to be able to maintain it and not add too many, but we'll see. But yeah, nobody needs 95 eyeshadow palettes and singles, nobody. The next one is concealers. So in January 2022 I had 7 concealers, and then in January 2023 I've got 6. So I have managed to decrease my concealers by 1, but I did finish 2. So I only brought in 1 concealer in 2022, so I feel like I've not done too bad there. I think this is the first category, is it, that's decreased? I'm happy with that. So the 2 concealers I finished, the first one I finished in March last year, and that was the Wet n Wild Photo Focus concealer. Again, this is another really affordable concealer, and I thought it was okay. But the thing with me is I have to really, really, really love something for me to want to repurchase it. Otherwise, I just like to try new things. And this was okay. And again, if I was out and I didn't have a concealer for whatever reason, I would definitely pick this up because again, it's affordable and it's good, but I wouldn't purposely go out and rebuy it. But I finished it. This concealer took me forever. Took me forever to finish. I think I was working on this for like over a year. I think I was working on it majority of 2021 and then 3 months of 2022. And then the next one I finished in August, was the Rimmel Lasting Radiance Concealer. I love the foundation of this, it's my holy grail, but I don't love the concealer as much. I found that the shade range for the concealer isn't great. So I usually, for a foundation, I have to go for like the lightest shade because I'm so fair. But this was the lightest shade concealer. I found that it was just a little bit darker than my foundation, but I mean, I made it work. And sometimes, you know, you don't always want a concealer that's brightening. Sometimes you just want one that kind of matches, and this is what this was perfect for. But yeah, I wouldn't get it again. I don't love the concealer as much as I love the foundation. I was happy to have it out of my collection. So I'm really happy with the concealers. I don't feel like concealers are a category that I go out and buy a lot of, so I feel happy that I've managed to decrease that. The next one is powders. So in January 2022 I had 6 powders, and now in January 2023 I have 5. So I did manage to finish 4 powders in 2022. I do seem to go through powders a lot faster than I think I thought I did, but 2 out of the 4 I did finish. I did already have progress on it. So the first 2 come from my Shade and Light contour palette, and it was these 2 powders here. So I did finish both of these. I finished this one in February and then this one in March, I believe. I'm still working on this at the moment. I'm trying to finish these contours. As you can see, I'm not doing too great on this one, but this one I'm not doing too bad. But yeah, these were okay. I know some people absolutely love these, but I don't feel like I need to buy this palette to get those powders back. But they did a job. The next one I finished in June, and it was a Maybelline Fit Me powder. And like I said, it's all that nice shiny pan. This was okay. It did a job. If I needed a powder, I would get it. And then the last one I finished in October was the e.l.f. powder. This is the Fair Light one. It was just the one in the kind of cheap packaging. But this again isn't expensive, so if you are on a budget, this is a decent powder. I have preferences for other powders, so I wouldn't get it again. I think I bought this when I did like a full face of e.l.f. makeup. But yeah, it's okay for the price. So again, another category I have decreased, which I'm happy about because there are definitely categories that I have increased by a lot, and I feel like they're coming up. I did bring in 4 powders though this year as well. So 2 of them come from the Tarte pack. I have Princess palette as well. So yeah, but I'm happy with that category. The next one is contours. So I don't really contour. I have them in my collection because I bought them previously when contouring was all the rage, and now I don't really do contour. So in January 2022 I had 2 in my collection, and now this year in January 2023 I have 4. And again, it's because I got that Tarte Park Ave Princess palette that I then ended up getting 2 more contours. So I didn't finish any contours this year. That's not surprising because I don't reach for them that much. I am trying to finish a contour in the Shade and Light contour palette. Well, I'm trying to finish 2, but I do think potentially I might be able to finish 1 in 2023 if I really put my mind to it, but we'll just see. So the next category is bronzers, and in January 2022 I had 33 bronzers in my collection, and now in January 2023 I have 38, and I did finish 1 bronzer. It's okay. Bronzers do take me a while again to finish up, which is why I'm trying to be a bit better about just bringing stuff in for the sake of it. I'm going to try and be a bit picky with all categories and not just some categories. But the bronzer I finished in July last year, and it was my NYX matte bronzer. This was old, so I was really happy to have it finished. This is quite red toned, which this used to be one of my favourite bronzers in my collection from the high street. Now I prefer the Physicians Formula Butter bronzer, but yeah. But I was glad to at least have another bronzer out of my collection this year. So yeah, another category that's gone up, but it hasn't gone up as much as I think I thought it did, so I'm okay with that. Now the next one, blush. Here's another category for me that I just love buying blush. I feel like eyeshadows, blush and lipsticks and things like that are my weakness. I seem to have a lot of those. So I'm just saying it now because this has increased by a lot. I feel like this is the category that has increased the most out of all of my categories. In January 2022 I had 75 blushes. Now that is already more than enough, more than I will ever need. And in January 2023 I have 111 blushes. I can't believe I have that many. I mean, I thought I'd get close to 100 just because with the amount I brought in, but I didn't realise it was like over 110. I have to really work on blushes next year, but it just takes me forever to finish blushes, and if I just keep bringing more in and not finishing them, then it is going to just keep going up. I brought in a lot of blushes last year, a lot. I bought in 34 blushes, which is, I mean, to be fair, some of those are in palettes, because what I do with my inventory is I look at my face palettes as well, and anything that I would use as a blush I put in the blush category, for example. So a couple of these are different palettes, and I didn't buy them all myself. Some of them did come in subscription boxes, but yeah, that feels like a lot. Well, it is a lot, Sonia, that's why. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and work on at least getting 1 out next year. I mean, I know that's still not great because I'm still not gonna be below 100. I don't know how well I'm gonna do because, like I said, blushes take me forever to like hit pan or use up, but I'm gonna give it a good go. But yeah, this has increased a lot. But again, it's one of those weakness categories for me, so at the same time, I'm kind of not surprised, even though, to be fair, nobody, and I'm going to keep saying this, nobody needs this many products in their collection. Okay, the next one is highlight. So in January 2022 I had 55 highlights, and then in January 2023 I have 64, so again another one that has increased. But I did finish 2 highlights this year, and they did come from my Smashbox Drawn In Decked Out Spotlight palette in Pearl, and these were the 2 highlights. I didn't use the one in the middle because it just didn't work for me, but I managed to finish 2, so I was really happy with that. I'm hoping to be able to finish another one this year as well. And I think what I'm going to be doing for each of my categories is, if I'm bringing something to a project and I just don't love it or I don't think it works for me, I'm just going to be decluttering it, because I have so much stuff that I can hold on to it all as much as I think sometimes I wish I could. And you know, if it doesn't work for me, like, you know, for example, shade or something like that, it's most probably not going to work for me in a year as well, so I may as well just pass it along to someone else that it may suit more than it suits me. So I'm going to be a little bit better at decluttering in 2023 and trying not to just pan for the sake of panning it. I have done that a few times with some products last year, but I'd rather be working on products that I love. But yeah, I don't think the highlights have increased that much, so I'm okay with that. Next one is brows. So in January 2022 I had 9, and then in January 2023 I've got 14. So again, it hasn't gone up too much, and I did finish a brow product in 2022, and I finished it in July, and it was the Winky Lux Unibrow. I really enjoyed this. This was the first brow pencil I ever tried, because previously I didn't do my brows. Before I started my YouTube channel back in 2020, I didn't touch my brows. I didn't like emphasizing my brows, but I got this in a FabFitFun, and it's like a teardrop shape one, and these are my preference. I much prefer ones like this compared to the thinner brow pencils. So yeah, I really did enjoy this, but I don't think I can buy it anymore, which is a shame. So again, another category I'm happy with. I know it's gone up, but it hasn't gone up by huge amounts, and I'm hopeful to be able to at least finish one more this year, if not more. Okay, the next category is setting spray. So in January 2022 I had 9 in my collection, and January 2023 I have 6. So this is another category that has decreased, which I'm really happy about, and I finished 4 setting sprays in 2022. So the first one I finished in May, and it was the e.l.f. Illuminating Mist and Set. This smelled like chemicals, and I was not a massive fan of it. But again, this is a cheap product. I just wouldn't recommend it. I just did not like the smell of it. I thought it just smelled like something you should not be putting on your skin, so I wouldn't get that again. The next one I finished in April, so yeah, it's obviously just not in order. I finished the Professional Super Setter Mist. This was okay. I didn't think it did anything special, but my preference for setting spray is a glowy setting spray, and this isn't going to offer a glow, so yeah, it was okay, but it wouldn't be something I would get again. So the next one I finished was also finished in May, and it was the MAC Fix Plus Mini. I feel like I want to try this again, mainly just because I can't remember what I thought to it, and I know this is a classic. I know everybody loves it, so I think I may potentially at some point, not anytime soon, may potentially pick this up and try it again, because I can't remember what I think to it. And then the last one I finished was in November, and it was the St. Lux setting spray. I won't get this again. I didn't buy it to begin with. It came in a glossy box, but I found this to be really sticky, so I wouldn't get it again. The next category is lip liners. So in January 2022 I had 6 in my collection, and in January 2023 I have 8. So I have added more to it, and I haven't finished any in 2022, which is okay. I was working on one all year, and that is definitely going to be done in 2023, so I'll at least have one less. I don't go out and buy lip liners. They usually get given to me through subscription boxes, but however, recently I have found that I do enjoy using lip liners, so I am happy to have the ones I've got in my collection, but I don't really feel like I need any more. The next category is mascaras. So in January 2022 I had 11, and now in January 2023 I have 9, and in 2022 I finished 9 mascaras. So the first one I finished in January was the e.l.f. Lash It Loud mascara. I know a lot of people raved about this one, and it looks like this, and I think, thinking back to January, which has been a year now, I do think I did enjoy this one, but I never bought it again. I think that's what I thought to that. It's really difficult trying to think back, especially for that one. I think with majority of these I do remember what I think to them. The other one I finished in January was the Lancome Lash Idol. I did enjoy this one, but I don't buy mascaras again. This is just another one that I pretty much get in subscription boxes, but I do remember enjoying this one. The next one I finished in March was the Marc Jacobs Noir mascara. Again, I think I did really enjoy this one, but you can't buy Marc Jacobs anymore, so this is what it looks like. So even if I did enjoy it, I can't buy it. The other one I finished in March was the False Lash X Fiber mascara. So these are my sister's favourite, and she bought me them to try them. I think they're okay. I don't think it's anything I would get again. And it's like you do the one step and then the second step. I wouldn't get it again. The next one I finished was in May, and that was the Laura Geller Everyday Excellence mascara. This is what it looks like. I feel like a lot of these mascaras I did end up enjoying. Well, I at least use them for the 3 months. I think there is only one in here that I couldn't use for the 3 months because I didn't like it. Next one I finished in June, and it was W7 Flirty Eyes mascara. This was so good for the price, so good. This is what it looks like. Really enjoyed this. I would actually consider picking this up if I did need a mascara. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. The next one I finished was in August, and it was a Laura Mercier Caviar Volume Mascara. Again, another one that I think I enjoyed. But another one I just don't think I would repurchase just because it's expensive. Next one I finished in November, and it was the Bobbi Brown Smoky Eye Mascara. I did enjoy this one, and I have since got a full size. I didn't buy it myself, it came in a beauty box, so I am happy to have a full size of that. And then the last one I finished was in December, and it was the Maybelline Go Colossal Extreme. I did enjoy this one as well, but I did find that towards the end this just got everywhere. So it got like all under my eyes and everything. But yeah, it was one I was happy to use. And the one I wasn't happy to use, and I didn't even put it down as an empty, I think I just removed it as a declutter, was the Ofra HD Volumizing Mascara. This was awful. Awful, awful, awful. It did absolutely nothing. And I think I just kept it in here just to show you. But yeah, I didn't count it as an empty, so I don't know why I kept it in my little bin here. But yeah, this was awful. Would not recommend. So again, I've decreased mascaras. This category isn't one I'm worried about because I do use mascara for 3 months, so I do get through mascara often. And last year I was bringing out 2 mascaras at a time. I'm not at the moment, I'm just using 1 at a time, but I could always change it again and bring out 2 if I felt like it was getting a little bit overwhelming. And then last but no means least, I have my lip category. Again, another one that I think has definitely increased. So in January 2022, I had 82 lip products, and in January 2023, I have 102. So I've just gone over 100, and I did finish 3 in 2022. I technically finished 4, but I don't count my lip balms and things like that in my lip category. So I finished 4, but I'm only going to count 3 there, if that makes sense. The first one I finished was in September, and it was my little mini JK Magic lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury. So this is what it looks like. I don't dig out my products because, as you can see, I've got 102. I definitely don't need to be digging out my products. But yeah, this was a nice lip colour. It went with a lot of things. The one thing I do want to say though just about Charlotte Tilbury packaging is it does always seem to come off. I had it with my primer I had as well. The packaging just seems to come off, and it always goes on your hands everywhere. The next one was also another Charlotte Tilbury product. This I finished in November, was the Charlotte Tilbury Refresh Rose Lip Bath. This took me no time at all, it feels like, to get through. But this was nice. I wouldn't go out and repurchase it, but I do have another one of these in my collection that I will use. I got both of these in a mystery box. But yeah, it was moisturising, but I don't feel like I need it in my collection. And then the last one that I counted in my lip section, I also finished in September, and it was a Bare Minerals Bare Pro lipstick in Petal. It looks like this. This was such a beautiful colour. This colour is like my go-to colour, and I did really enjoy it, but I don't need it. I don't need it. I have so many colours like that in my collection. And then the last one I'm just going to talk about really quick is a lip balm. This is the Ciate London Miss Piggy Lip Balm, and this is just what it looks like. I didn't really enjoy this, but I did use it up. I am, like I said, going to start counting my lip balms because for some reason they take me forever to use up. So yeah, I am going to be counting them in the makeup I finished every year. So that is it. There's definitely more categories I've increased than I have decreased, but I still do want to look at the positives, and there are still some I did decrease. Like I said, I'm not surprised I increased in eyeshadow, blush and lips. Yeah, I'm hoping to be able to get a bit more of a control of it in 2023, and I'm hoping to be able to finish a bunch of makeup. One thing I do want to say just at the end of this is I'm going to be setting myself a little bit of a challenge this year, because this year I turned 30. So I'm going to set myself a challenge just for me. You know, if I don't reach it, it's fine, but I'm going to try and finish 30 makeup items. In 2022, I finished 32 items, so I'm hoping I'll be able to finish 30 for 2023. Just like I said, it's just something fun for me turning 30. I thought I would try and finish 30 makeup items. But yeah, that's 32 makeup items out of my collection this year, and I'm really, really, really happy with that. I'm hoping to be able to get the same amount, if not more, hopefully next year. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, please do keep an eye out at the beginning of Feb because I'm going to be showing you my whole collection, each of the different categories. And also, if you want to see my skincare section, let me know as well. I'll try and fit that in at some point as well. I know people usually like to just see makeup, but let me know if you'd like to see my skincare too. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and it means the absolute world to me if you could subscribe if you don't already. And I'd love to know below how your category inventory numbers have been this year. I am watching everyone's videos. I'm just so behind at the moment. I'm about the beginning of December, but I'm getting there, and I'm starting to now see people's inventories, which I love these type of videos. So yeah, until my next video, thank you for coming by. See you later.